Yo, what's good people? Today we're going to be doing actually a continuation of the Okizeme guide. So I want to do a part 2. I want to cover some more wall setups and some mid-screen setups. You know, like I've seen people ask me, you know, what do you do if the opponent knows about the full crouch sweep and you can actually hold forward to, you know, evade souls on 4 or souls on 2, that immediate timing mix up. So how do you deal with that? Do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe. Liking will help with the algorithm. Commenting will also help with the algorithm, and subscribing will let me know that you enjoy the content. Let's get into it. Okay, first of all, we're going to start at the wall. So let's actually set him to reset at the wall. Now, I came up with this tech, and me and Hayes, he's a really good American Raven. We were talking about it, and he was like, oh, I'm going to use it in the tourney. I'm going to use it in the tourney tonight. And he used it in the tourney, and yeah, he was cooking. He was cooking with this tech. So I thought, why not share it? Because it's really sick. I'm not going to lie. Okay, so it works when you splat. Usually, I think his tech was that that's what he was doing, and I wanted to find another way, because the thing is, you have to time the slide. So I'm like, in tournament that could really mess you up, because it can end up being quite punishable, even this one. So I thought to myself, why don't I find a way to make that transition, souls on 4 specifically, safe if they get up and block, similar to how forward 2-3 souls on 4, if they get up and block, it's usually safe. So what I wanted to do was allow myself to have a safe souls on 4, but also keep the mid risk as well. So this still keeps the mid risk, which is crazy. So I'm going to show you how it works. So first of all, we're going to set him to side roll left. Once he gets up, he's going to block. The screw attack has to be QSF 1-2. Just keep that in mind. So deep side step left, -10 slide. Now they can't punish that with a while standing 4. This is consistent across the cast, apart from Jack. Jack has some sort of hurtbox issues. I don't know why this doesn't work. No matter how much you delay the side step 1-2, it still doesn't work. So yeah, the only character it doesn't work on is Jack. So I'm going to break it down. You must screw with QSF 1-2 all the time. So once you get a wall splat, screw with QSF 1-2, deep side step left, souls on 4, and it will be -10. On hit now, this is where it gets kind of crazy, because +8, allowing you to sweep. They can't while standing 4 this, because this is actually a frame trap. If they while standing 4, if they mash, they have to actually dick jab, which trades with sweep. So I'm going to show you what happens if they mash with crouch jab and it trading with sweep, because I'm +8, crouch jab's 10 frames, this sweep is 18 frames. So we're going to trade. So I'm going to show you the situation, what happens if they mash a crouch jab, and what happens on trade. So I've actually set the CPU to do this sequence to me, so I can mash tech roll left and then mash crouch jab. So this is what's going to happen. So mash tech left. I actually get crushed. It crushes crouch jab. So his sweep crushes crouch jab in this situation. So actually there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do. They just have to hold it. So you see, it crushes. So I get crushed, which is insane. So that's what happens with souls on 4 into sweep. They can't even avoid the frame trap. You might ask, well, what's the mid option? Well, the mid option would be souls on 3-2. And in heat now, obviously this is going to be safe. So you have a safe low, safe mid option, which is insane. Now we're going to set back roll. So what they're going to try and do is hold back, block. So after hit or block, we're going to select block all, and you are going to see what happens. They get hit. Now we're in a mix again. See, you're in a mix. It's insane. This is really, really insane. Now the counterplay to this is teching right. But the thing is, you're teching back into the wall, which is not a good idea against Raven, because now look. +4. This is insane. This is the counterplay to teching right. Now, if this is +4, this means back turn forward 3 is a frame trap. So if they press, it all kind of works together in, you know, a really, really nice sequence. So again, to reiterate, the counterplay is you can do the mid, and this will always hit. tech left and tech right, so there's really no counterplay to this, which is insane. So yeah, the counterplay is insane. And then if you want to do a low, you can just white hole, and you know, you can do the sweep, or you can white hole into back turn as well and do, you know, back turn forward 4-1. I mean, the options are really yours to use, but this Oki is really, really good. Now, again, let's put it to tech or left, and then we can block. Now, most people are going to tech left the first time because they want to get away from the wall. Now, I think people will only tech right if they, first of all, know about this tech. And then like, okay, I don't want to take the safe slide, so I'm going to tech right this time. Well, now if they tech right, you can still mix them low, because you can do white hole into full crouch, or you can do the mid. Now, what happens if, for example, you wall splat with back turn 4? Now you're in heat. Same thing applies. Let's do that again. Safe. That's a safe wall splat. Similarly, if they tech roll right to beat the low, so you wall splat them with back turn 4. Safe. And then again in heat, if you want to beat, you know, see, just insane. So that's that tech at the wall. It's really, really, really good. Let's move on to Hell Sweep and how to beat the counterplay to Hell Sweep. Okay, so Hell Sweep allows you to do a mix between Soul Zone 4 and Soul Zone 2, or Soul Zone 3. Sometimes I like to do as well. So if they get up, for example, if they hold back and they try and block the sweep, for example, they can do that. So as you can see, block all is on. They can block the sweep and launch. Similarly, they can get up and block the mid. Now, what people have been doing to get out of it is holding forward. Let's look at what happens when they hold forward. This is what happens. So they completely evade the mix-up with a forward roll, which is insane. Now, the counterplay to this is white hole transitions, because now they roll into you. So let's do the sweep. White hole, full crouch, they're guessing. So there is counterplay to it. Similarly, back turn, they're guessing. You see? But let's turn block all off. They're still gonna front roll. Guess. Guess. See? So the counterplay to this is just to make them guess again. So there really is no counterplay to the sweep. The counterplay to the sweep is purely for immediate timing mixes. So, you know, Soul Zone 4, Soul Zone 2, and then they're going to start getting up and trying to block it, which then allow you to start going for immediate timing mix-ups again if you so choose. But yes, this is the counterplay, advanced counterplay to people holding forward during sweep, because to be honest, it's annoying if you don't know how to deal with it. It's like, well, the mix-up is useless now, but it's actually not, because it makes the mix-up stronger, to be honest. See? It's insane. So that's sweep. We're going to cover one last one, which involves Soul Zone 4 again. Surprise, surprise. It's just such a good move for Oki, because I think it's just because it goes so far and you can space it to be safe, you know? So this is why we use Soul Zone 4 for Oki so much. It's just insane. I'm going to put the frames on so you can see once again. So you can see the frames at the bottom in the square. And I'm going to set the opponent to block all. So the setup works like this. You do a side step left, forward 4-3. Make sure the forward 4-3 is early but still hits. You see like that how the active frames, the attack startup frames were 18. So that hit on the last active frame, that hit on the second to last active frame. So make sure to kind of get this as late as possible, because it will set up Soul Zone 4 just right. -10. You see? And that wasn't even as early as possible. If I did it slightly earlier, that would have been -9. So again, another situation where Soul Zone 4 is -10. And they can't punish that unless it's with a crouch jab. You know? So again, let's show you again so you can kind of see what I mean. -9, you see? That one was -9. So even if they crouch jab, they can't punish it. So you can actually make this safe, which is insane. Now, what happens is, look at the frame advantage, +9. I'm going to show you what that looks like in practice. So I'm going to set him to stand to, or just not set, to not block it. +8. Now you can do whatever you want. See? He can mix. Yeah, so this tech is really, really good as well. And last but not least, let's show you what happens when they tech roll. Because they can actually tech roll in this situation because there's no spike. So when you spike them, you remove their ability to tech roll and then they side roll. But in this situation, they can tech roll. So we're going to show you what happens when they tech roll. -9. And you see why it was -9? Because forward 4-3 hit on the last active frame of the move. So practice, if you want to go for this setup and you want it to be like completely safe, practice getting the forward 4-3 on the last active frame. The last active frame, last active frame. You see? We're going to try and get another -9 or -10. And then we're going to take a look at the active frames. -9. You see? And I called it before I even did Soul Zone 4. The reasoning for that is because I saw attack startup frames 18. So I know now when I do Soul Zone 4, it's a perfect frame kill to get -9 on block. So that's what happens when they tech roll. It's the same situation. They have to just get up and block it. So that is another one that's also very insane. If you're not comfortable with it yet, like timing stuff, you can just do, you know, 4-2-3 Soul Zone 4, for example, from something like this, which we discussed last time in the Okizeme guide. But this is part 2, kind of more advanced. So Soul Zone 1+2, dash up. Obviously, if they tech roll, because you took away the ability to tech roll, they can't, and they side roll. But then that would be -9, 10, or 11 as well, depending on how far you dashed in and stuff like that. But yeah, that's another way to set up a safe slide from Soul Zone. So that was part 2, more of an advanced kind of section, I think, because, you know, sweep is hard to get your head around when they start kind of enforcing that counterplay, the forward roll. But once you understand your opponent knows how to deal with it, and it's very easy to spot because the animation is very distinct. So if we set them to roll forward, the animation just looks very, very unique. There's no other animation wake up wise. So this is very easy to spot. Another way it's easy to spot is if these attacks whiff. That means your opponent knows how to deal with it. Now what happens? Force them to guess with White Hole. See? There's a whole plethora of things you can do from White Hole. And then you have Oki from the throw as well, you know? So, again, them kind of knowing the counterplay puts them more in a mix-up, in a more threatening mix-up. Because I guess getting hit with Soul Zone 2 can be a bit, yeah, because you can hit confirm this as a launcher. So I guess, yeah, I guess they want to get out of it. Personally, I like when you splat them, sidestep, 1-2 Soul Zone, 4. I really, really like this because it gives you +8, but you're right at the feet because you're at the wall, so they can't get away. Whereas like if this hits from here, it's got pushback, right? So you have to crouch dash in, which is still fine. But yeah, I just prefer sidestep left, Soul Zone 4, because, you know, it has immediate timing. There's no delay. Like this one has delay and you have to time it. There's no delay with 1-2 Soul Zone 4. And then you're right in the face 4. A mix. So yeah, definitely let me know in the comments what you think about Raven's Oki so far. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.